Of all the rooms that we've walked through over the last few weeks, your mentally, emotionally, physically, and now your spiritually fit rooms, the spiritually fit room is the one that I find the leaders that I work with and the teams I work with the most uncomfortable. See, we can measure our mental sharpness. We can track our emotional, responses. We can count our steps physically, right? But really, the physically fit room, you can't put that on a spreadsheet, right? It asks you to look at your purpose, right? And it's a big one because here's where stubbornness can get really sneaky, because sometimes leaders are so committed to the how that they forgot about the why. I'm thinking of one senior leader that I work with, again, real powerhouse leader, and got things done and, was very well respected by her team. And, things were really at a really good point in her career. And I said, well, how are you doing? How are you feeling with all this? And she said, honestly, I feel disconnected. I feel disconnected from myself. I feel disconnected from my team. I feel disconnected everywhere in my life. And I said, so when did that start? And she thought about it for a moment. She reflected. And she said, I think it started when I stopped listening to my own gut. When I stopped listening to my own intuition. And I was so focused on the plan that I wasn't in alignment with the purpose. So how about you? Like in her case, stubbornness was not arrogance. It was about control. She had gripped so tightly to that plan that this is what we have to do, right? And given the circumstances that we're all in right now, if COVID taught us anything, it's like we are working harder and the intensity has been turned up and, it's a lot for people. And yet, we're somehow leaving ourselves back here. We're becoming this sacrificial lamb if we let it. So I'm encouraging you to take this time to really ask yourself this question moving forward over the next week. Am I leading with purpose or am I leading with the plan? The results are so very different. So very different. So, and really, how is your stubbornness, in fact, shutting out your very own intuition that actually will shed light on whatever situation you're in? Because, we know through neuroscience that your gut, your stomach, is your second brain. So we need to actually take that pause, listen from within. See, for me, the most powerful leaders aren't the ones with the best strategy. They're the ones who stay connected. They stay connected to something deeper than the bottom line. You see, they lead with conviction and humility. Yeah, it's so very important. They hold their vision, but not too tight, firmly, but they hold space for other things to come within. And that's where that intuition, we have space for that. We allow ourselves to think outside the box, to think very differently. So I'm urging you to make sure that you are leading with purpose and your plan. Have yourself a beautiful day. Remember, you are a powerhouse.